Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk about a pretty amazing piece of medical tech that comes from, of all places, the ocean. We're talking about calcium alginate dressings, and trust me, how they work is seriously cool.
So you're probably thinking, seaweed and advanced wound care? How in the world do those two things connect? Well, it might seem a little strange at first, but the link is very real, and it's a perfect example of how we can find incredible medical solutions right in nature.
So what exactly are they? Simply put, calcium alginate dressings are like high-tech bandages, and they're made from the natural fibers you find in seaweed. So yeah, a totally natural source. But their real genius is in how they actually work with your body to heal.
But how does a piece of seaweed help heal a really complex wound? Well, that's where we get to its incredible gel-forming superpower.
Okay, so its number one job is to deal with wounds that produce a lot of fluid, what doctors call exudate. When a wound is weeping a lot, it can actually slow down healing and even raise the risk of infection. And that's exactly where these dressings come in to save the day. So here's how the magic happens broken down. First, the dressing touches the wound fluid. Now, this is the really cool part. There's a bit of chemistry at play. The calcium in the dressing and the sodium in the wound fluid do a little switcheroo. This swap instantly causes the fibers to form a soft gel that locks away all that extra liquid. This creates the perfect moist healing environment, which lets the body's natural healing process kick into high gear. It's such a simple but brilliant reaction.
And this comparison really shows why that moisture is so important. For a long time, people thought you should let wounds air out and dry up. But we know now that a dry environment can actually slow healing way down and be pretty uncomfortable. The moist little shield that the alginate gel creates does the exact opposite. It protects the wound and helps the body heal up much faster. All right, so we get how it works, but when do you use it? Let's take a look at the specific kinds of wounds where this technology really shines.
You gotta know, this dressing is a specialist. We're not talking about a little paper cut here. It's designed for some of the toughest chronic wounds out there, things like venous ulcers, severe pressure ulcers, you might know them as bed sores, and diabetic foot ulcers. These are all situations where healing can be incredibly difficult. And this table really breaks it down for us. See that common theme? Each one of these wounds has a major problem with way too much fluid. Venous ulcers, for instance, often have a ton of drainage. Well, the alginate dressing is super absorbent, so it tackles that problem head-on, giving the body a chance to start healing. And the exact same idea applies to pressure and diabetic ulcers. So, let's bring it all home and recap the big benefits. Why is this whole seaweed-based tech such a game changer for wound care? This quote from our source material just says it all. It's not just about soaking up fluid, it's about using that fluid to create the perfect little bubble for healing. It's a 2-for-1 benefit. If you're going to remember just one thing from all this today, what should it be?
It all comes down to 2 huge advantages. 1, these dressings are amazing at managing heavy wound drainage, pulling all that excess fluid away. And 2, just as important, they turn that fluid into a protective gel that creates the absolute ideal moist conditions for healing. It's a simple, powerful, and natural solution that works with the body, not against it.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If something as simple as seaweed can be turned into such an advanced medical tool, what other amazing solutions is nature hiding from us, just waiting to be discovered? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.